Hello and welcome to TXM TV. I'm Anthony Clyne and today I'm joined by Rob Chittenden. Hi Rob, how's your week been?
Yeah, good, Anthony. Hello, and hello, everyone. It's great to be back on the TV. Had a week off.
Yeah, and Rob, I hear you've been very busy at a multitude of client sites this week.
Yeah, we've seen some resumption of work on site, so they've been good to do. And obviously, the remote stuff's been an easy way to sometimes just do short sessions. So, spending an hour on Zoom one-on-ones or with small groups has been very beneficial to keep projects moving along.
Fantastic, Rob. And so today our topic, Rob, is standardisation and standard work. And what I find, Rob, in standard work is the need to use everyday terms to implement practical improvements. And sometimes it can be difficult to engage clients and clients' employees in standardisation. I find employees are far more comfortable using everyday terms when describing their improvements. Standardisation is one of these terms, and in some companies the term is widely accepted. In other companies, the term brings back bad memories of previous improvement efforts, and they actually disengage the people. So, and sometimes standardisation is used in a way that is interpreted as a blanket rule that everybody instantly has to do the task this way, and it has this dimension of perfection. And it's probably a little bit unrealistic to expect everybody to change instantly from how they've been doing it to doing it the new way. So if you've been doing a task for many years, it's really difficult to change. And of course, we explain why and we explain how, and we go through this process of standardisation, but the actual word can disengage and get people's defences up even before you start. And of course, the irony is that everybody has the common goal to deliver the best value for their customer, and to do that using a common way to give a consistent outcome. So what we do is we help people go on this journey at TXM, and we understand how the first step is to understand how the work is done, why the work is done like that, challenge it, do experiments, and Rob, there is a structured way that you'll take us through and define a better way. But some of those labels we use instead of the term standard work, they could be best case scenario. So you say, well, what's the best case scenario? And what that does, it dials down the expectation that you're going to do it exactly the same way instantly, and allows for the fact that there is variation and some barriers, and it gives people a little bit of scope around how quickly they move to the best case scenario, or the single best method is another phrase that can be used in that term. And so it's around the leadership style of not focusing too much on perfection and focusing on the critical things that deliver the outcomes, and then moving towards perfection over time. Another phrase is record. So if it's a time-based outcome, like a production run or a production setup, what is the record? And like in the Olympics, we don't expect a world record to be achieved every single race, but we know what it is, and we can chin our effort or our actual result based on how close it was or is to the record. And the other types of phrases that we use are around sporting metaphors. And so the playbook is an American football phrase that says this is our set play. We go to the playbook and we have a certain number of scenarios where we know what to do, and this is our standard work effectively. And so set a standard script, especially if you're in customer service, that is the standard work, and it's a script. And so the metaphor there is the movie. And we're going to be actors in our own movie, and we're going to say the script, and this is the standard script, and this is we're going to rehearse. And so you use a lot of those phrases to glamorize the work and dial up the importance of it. Other phrases are simply the way it's done. This is the way it's done around here, and this is the way it's been done for this is the new way of doing it. Could be a version of that, or there's many variations. And And then there's the aspirational ones, such as the gold standard. That's the gold standard. And that's good too, because it says this is ideally how we would do it. That is the gold standard. And another one is best practice. What is the best practice? And so that takes away or extends the element just from your local workplace to a whole lot of different workplaces. So standardisation can be a disengager, and use natural words that are used in the workplace and engage your employees. Rob, what's how do we go about standardisation and standard work? How do we implement that?
Yeah, well, some of the things you've talked about there, Anthony, are really good techniques to frame what we're after to try and do here. Now, all about standard work is stripping it back to the core, finding out what is the work and defining that work. And I like the idea that we do try and set a standard and we understand things. So let's try and use a little bit of the technology today and show what we mean by standard work. So standard work is a concept where we define the work. But before we can define the work, and the first question I ask is, how stable is the work or process step you're trying to refine? If we don't have stability in a process, it's telling you to go work on something else first. So if it's always a quality problem, or there's always a variable that's unknown, applying standard work to those situations is only going to cause heartache, because there are things that are unknown. So work on your stability problems first. And once you've got that to a high level, then of course we can start using that approach to solving a quality issue as the standard work. So standard work is about defining the way that it's done. So after you've got stability, define the standard way. Now, that's just how we approach it. Now, I've been on many projects or worked with many teams. There's always multiple ways, depending on the person or whether they're right-handed or left-handed comes up quite often. But we need to be practical here. What is the way that we all can agree the way to do it? Whether you pick up one screw or two screws, maybe that's not important at the beginning. Just start with, we're picking up the screws, all right? And some people can pick up more than one at a time. That's great. It's nothing that we need to chase at the beginning. So just start simple. When we start looking at that, of course, we want to define quite a few things beyond the method. What is the time that goes with that method? What is the stock that needs to be in the area? How things are arranged? What are the quality checks? We may use some tools like a spaghetti map. We may be looking at what I mentioned earlier, 2 bin systems. How do we keep things all there when we need them? So there's a way of tying standard work together and defining a lot more. But again, at the beginning, keep it simple, keep it approachable for everyone, and get their inputs to it. And then finally, the last part of standard work is to improve it. Your first cut's not going to be the one that lasts. It's just the starting point. And off we go for version 1, version 2, version 3, and keep going. So always coming back and looking at how I can improve standard work, because it's now the core of that operation. It's not left to the team to work it out. They have a way of doing it. And it can apply in the office as well, as irrelevant to the shop floor as well. So think about how you do standard work and follow those 3 things and you'll be fine. There you go, Anthony, and I hope you enjoyed that.
I did enjoy that, and thank you, Rob, for giving me that overview of it. It's very valuable to remember exactly how to go about it. If we go about applying standard work in a common way, that in itself is our standard work.
Yeah, absolutely. And just make a start. I don't mind if it's just 3 points on a piece of paper. Then it can have photos. Then it can have variation of times. It can have the quality important points to stop here and check that. It could have your lessons learned added. Oh, when you're folding this over, this is the way we do it. So there's a lot of method to attach.
Yeah, there is. And so thank you, Rob, for your insight. And thank you, everybody, for taking time to watch this TXM TV episode. Remember to comment on our LinkedIn page and email us at txmtv@txm.com. And I hope you can join us in the next episode. I'm Anthony Clyne, and thank you for joining us.